Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Efes zulosoi, Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Efes zulosoi, Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Efes zulosoi, Einoin milevadoi, Einoin milevadoi, Efes zulosoi. Da 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 do 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 da 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 oh yeah da 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 oh da da da. Greetings, everybody. It's not the normal time that the usual time we learn and we get together, but I couldn't let this day just go by. Today's the 81st Yarzeit of someone who's had such a tremendous impact on the world and on many of our lives here in Efrat, and I guess social media learning world, whatever you want to call it. And that is the Yarzeit of the Aish Kodesh, of Reb Klonim Kalman Shapira, Zecher Tzadik v'Kodesh Livrocha L'Chayil Abba Hashem Yikom Damo, who was killed 81 years ago today. And I couldn't let this day go by without sharing something short, but something very, very personal, and also, I think, shaykh to the times that we're in. This morning, when I went right before I went out to daven in the Beis Medrash, so I really wanted to have the Rebbe with me, and I took the small, this one. I took a Bnei Machshava Tova that I pulled off the shelf, and I just wanted it to be on my shtender while I was davening. I don't always do that, but I felt that very much today. I wanted this Bnei Machshava Tova with me, and Bnei Machshava Tova, the Sefer, Bnei Machshava Tova was the Sefer that really got our chevra here together. And there was a few minutes before davening actually began, so I opened up randomly, I opened up the Sefer. I opened up to the back actually. And in the back of the Sefer, Bnei Machshava Tova, mamash at the end, there's a piece that also appears in Tzavizirus, in the Rebbe's diary, Tzavizirus. And it says here, it's a perek mitoch tfilot shenirshemu b'tzavizirus shenidpas yachad im sefer achshar savrechim. This is a piece of a little tefillah the Rebbe wrote, that the Piasetzner Rebbe wrote. And it says here, this is in 1934. This is right after Yantiv of 1934. Taf Reish Tzadik Gimel, but in Tishrei is already 1934, October, I guess, 1934. And the Rebbe is just pouring out his heart in this piece, and he puts together a tefillah. and I started reading the words. I'm sure I've seen this before. It hit me so profoundly deep, because you may as well have been writing these words today. It's your words, it's my words. This is mamish today, what's going on. Now, a little bit after that, after davening, before we started learning, I wanted to see what my Rebbe, Rav Weinberger, was talking about last night, was giving over at the Aish Kodesh Hilula in Woodmere. It's one of these moments where you get that wink from above, and Rebbe gave over this piece, this exact piece that caught my eye this morning. And obviously I'm encouraging everyone to watch it and to learn from how it was a beautiful evening of Nigune. My brother was part of it, and Yosef Karduner, and Aryeh Kunstler, and a bunch of the Chevra there. And Rebbe speaks in the middle there, and he gives over this piece. And I just want to give over to you in literally just a few minutes what the Rebbe writes in these words, because it's clear that the tzaddik, the Piasetzner Rebbe, was thinking about you and me. He wasn't just thinking about the Jews that were suffering in his time in the Holocaust. He was thinking about every Jew that would ever have to suffer ad bias goel tzaddik until Mashiach comes. This is literally, if you had to go anywhere back in time and pull from there, saying something, were you thinking about us, this last door that is so filled with tears and with pain, and yet with bitachon? What would you write to us? And this is a pretty, I don't use this word so much, how would you beseech on our behalf, the Shmei HaShamayim, the Ribono Shel. Whoever wants this piece, please reach out to me personally, and I'll send it to you. But if you have the Sefer Tzav Ziruz, it's Ot Lamed. Here we go. This is a few, just basically capturing a few of the feelings that took place post Yomim Tovim of Taf Reish Tzadik Gimel, 1934. Ribono Shel Olam, Shomea Kol Bechiyot. Master of the world, you hear the voice of the cries. Ma yaseh im kol dma'ot Yisrael, shenishpechu kol kach harbe me'od b'mei ratzon ha'elu. Ribono Shel Olam, what are you going to do with all these tears that were pouring before you throughout these Yomim Tovim? Now, even though this is pre-World War II, what did the world look like at this point? The Jewish world, in between the two world wars, where it was in complete turmoil. And the pain and the destruction was already apparent everywhere you went and everywhere you looked. There must have been so many different emotions and so much fear of the unknown taking place at Yomim Tovim 1934. Ribono Shel Olam, what are you going to do with all these tears that just came before Kisei HaKovod? U'ma ta'aseh im kol yamei hadma'ot shenishpechu be-20 shanim ha'achronot. But really, what are you going to do with the ocean of tears that were poured down before you in the last 20 years? Which is, of course, including World War I. And not just that. V'nigru me'imasa neviim ve'ad ata. The Rebbe starts talking about now, then he goes back 20 years, then he says, but wait a second. Where are the ocean of tears already from the time of the prophets? Where did they go? Ha'im chas v'sholom ta'abed et kol ne'arei eish kodesh kamayim. God forbid, the tears of holy fire that are pouring like the sea, like the ocean. Can we chas v'sholom imagine that these tears go nowhere? ומה תעשה עם דמעותיך שאתה מוריד כביכול בכל יום על חורבננו ועל צרותינו? Then the Rebbe says, forget about our tears. What about your tears, Hashem Yisbarach? The tears that you cry over Am Yisrael every single day, over the Chorban, over our tzaras, because you're crying also. Shomea kol bechiyos, the one that hears all the tears. Harbe olamot barata, you created many worlds. Ubriot ein mispar bekol echad mehem asita, and the amount of creations and creatures that you created, it's endless. Umiben kulam rak et ha'adam la'avodatcha ichsharta. But amongst all the different creations, it is man, it is human being that you've prepared and set up to be your servant. Aval kulam elecha oref panu ve'et adnotcha min ha'olam lecha mesalkim. But we look at humanity and you look what people have done. As human beings, Bali Bechira, people that have the choice, the power of choice. And it seems that Kimat, the whole world, has turned their back to you. But what? Hashem Yitbarach, Rak Aish Yisrael, Hu hy'd bechol olamcha hazeh, asher bechol libo v'nafsho lecha oved. Only us, Ribono Shel Olam. Only us, Am Yisrael, the Yid, the only one in your whole world that with all of his heart and her heart and soul turns to you, serves you. Avarachaman lemancha hu mukeh. For your great name, he is beaten. Ve'ata tabit, and you look down, dimotehem leshad nishmotehem bishvilcha kamayim nigarim ve'ata tacharish. Could you be silent? Could you really be silent in light of what's happening to your people? Kol ha'olam bishvilcha anachnu otanu mecharfim. The whole world hates us because of you, for you. Ve'al she'einenu kofrim becha chas v'shalom kamohem otanu makim. And since we don't become kofrim like them, heretics like them, we get beaten up. And this is the holy chutzpah of the Aish Kodesh. Vayim gam ata tosif la'akotenu al ele makar haba chas v'shalom. We have enough tzaras from them. You're going to add to it? You're going to add more to it? And the Rebbe continues and he says, but you know what? Yesh lanu av b'shamayim. We have a Father in heaven. Ve'ata et sharei shamayim ba'adcha tizgor v'tzakeh tatenu chas v'shalom lo takshiv. We know we have a Father in heaven, so you won't listen to the people that know that they have a Father in heaven? Avinu avarachman. Yes, hen gam chotim anu. It's true. We also sin. We also fall. We still haven't fixed all the things we were certain we were going to start fixing once we started feeling the tzaras come upon us. V'hen yesh aleinu mekatrigim b'marom. We have prosecutors up in heaven. We have all these voices all over the world, not just down here, but also up there saying, you see, it was a mistake to give these people the Torah. It was a mistake to create them. Aval Ribono Shel Olam, the Piasetzner says, Shomea kol bechiyas, the one that hears all the cries. Yantiv's past, Hine avru yamim hanara'im yamim kol kach kadoshim. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Hoshana Rabbah, Shmini Atzeres, Simchas Torah. These holy days have come and gone. Yomluna hamastinim efshar ra'u af echad bechol olamcha hagadol zulas Yisrael asher yakum lislichos. Has anyone in any world seen something like a Yid that gets up early in the morning in Elul to say, I'm sorry? Or efshar alta tkiya achat lishmei shamecha zulas miYisrael. Was there anyone else taking the shofar and blowing the shofar and creating the chibur between Shamayim va'aretz, cracking open whatever is still sealed from heaven? Did anyone else do that? Umi he'ir kol kach et heichalei elyon zulas Yisrael b'kedushas Yom Kippur. Who else has illuminated the supreme chambers above, other than Am Yisrael, through the holiness of Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Lulav u'minav, Yavo v'ya'idu ha'mastinim im yedu. Come and tell us, has anyone done this but us? Throughout this piece, the Rebbe continues with what we really see, the holiest form of chutzpah. Because how could someone talk like this? Usually we're told, Emunah Pshuta means just accept things. Let go and trust. Yesh manig labira, there's someone that's running the show. But when people are suffering, when Amcha Beis Yisrael are suffering, could you afford at that moment to be quiet, even for a second? Is there a doubt in anyone's minds when they read such words from the Aish Kodesh that's wondering, Ribono Shel Olam, what are you going to do with all these tears? You got to do something with it. Look at us. Look what we just came out of. And obviously, we read these words and we have thousands of images right in front of us, in our heart, in our minds, in our visuals. We have thousands of images of not just ourselves crying this last year, but so many families, so many widows, so many orphans, so many parents, just so many people. I'm sure you've done the same. I'm sure you've experienced some of the most beyond this world experiences in Shiva homes this past year. I myself experienced this exactly a week ago, Tuesday night, when I had the unfortunate privilege to go to the home of the Goldberg family who was sitting Shiva over their father, over their prince, Rav Avi Goldberg, Hashem Yikom Damo Zichrono Livracha. And there were so many tears there. Ribono Shel Olam. What are you going to do with all these tears? It's 81 years later, after the Piasetzner Rebbe closed his eyes for the last time. And 81 years later, the Rebbe's words could not be more relevant, could not be more practical, could not be more transforming and shaykh. So on a day like today, this piece is very long. I want you all to look at it inside, but I wanted to get to this nekuda. On a day like today, Daled Cheshvan, the Yarzeit of the Piasetzner Rebbe, we don't have the privilege to not tune into holy Chutzpa and say, Ribono Shel Olam, thank you. Thank you for the nisim and iflos that we just don't have the kelim, we don't have the vessels to comprehend that have taken place this last year plus. But Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the world, we can't stomach another tear. We can't take any more tzaras. Please, in the schus of the Piasetzner Rebbe, who gave his life for you, who continues to guide us in his most beautiful, original, and unique way of what it means to be a Jew, what it means to be a believer in his merit. Reb Klonimus Kalman, Hashem Yikom Damo, may all the gates of Rachamim be wide open al Amcha Beis Yisrael. And may you take all the tears, v'nepach lahem miyogan lesimcha, u'me'evel leyom tov, and they'll be transformed. Afachta mispedi lemacholi, you take my innermost pain and you transform it into a dance. May we dance with the Rebbe. May we dance with the 6 million. May we dance with our holy chayalim and chayalot that are not in this world anymore. May we just know of dancing and rejoicing in the light of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Be'ahava Rabbah, everybody.